All right, so we've got a whole stack of stuff here. Research articles, some firsthand accounts, even a few videos.
All about places that, well, kind of bend the rules a little.
Defy logic. Make you wonder if science got it all wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Like scientifically impossible places. And that's what we're diving deep into today.
Now, to help us unpack all this, to make sense of these mind-boggling locations, we've got an expert with us.
Thanks for having me.
So these places, are they really breaking the laws of physics? Or is there something else going on?
Well, it's more like they're revealing gaps in our understanding, showing us how much we still have to learn about how the world works.
Okay, so refining our knowledge, not defying it. I like that.
Exactly. Take the boiling river of the Amazon, for example. We're not talking about a nice warm bath here.
Yeah, this isn't your grandma's hot tub.
Not even close. This river in Peru hits temperatures near 93 degrees Celsius. Hot enough to, I don't know, make a pot of tea, maybe cook some pasta?
Wow, that's got to be close to boiling point, right?
Pretty much. And it's not just some random hot spring either. This river flows right through a sacred Mayan sanctuary.
The Mayan Tuyacu region.
That's the one. A place where, well, the boiling river isn't just a natural wonder. It's woven right into their spiritual practices. Shamans, the healers, they believe the river's heat has purifying properties. Use it for ceremonies, rituals.
So not just geology, but culture and belief all mixed in.
Totally. Now, ready for something completely different. Let's talk about the Sargasso Sea. The sea without shores.
Hold on, a sea without shores. How does that even work?
Picture this. A massive expanse of water in the North Atlantic. But instead of being defined by land, it's all about the currents. They create this swirling, almost enclosed ecosystem, unique and surprisingly calm.
I remember reading about it. It was like choked with seaweed, right? Sargassum seaweed. Creates this floating jungle teeming with all sorts of crazy marine life.
Right, and that seaweed, it's not just for decoration. It's like a nursery providing food and shelter for all sorts of creatures. Baby sea turtles, eels, shrimp, you name it.
Like a little underwater city, hidden in the seaweed.
Exactly, but here's the thing. This delicate balance, it's under threat. Changing ocean currents, rising temperatures, they're messing with the sargassum.
And that means trouble for the whole ecosystem.
Right, because in nature, everything's connected. One change can trigger a cascade of effects. Now, are you ready to dive deep? Literally.
Okay, hit me with it.
Imagine this. You're a scuba diver, descending into the heart of a giant underwater thinghole. The Great Blue Hole in Belize.
The Great Blue Hole. That's the one that formed during the last ice age, right?
That's right, back when sea levels were way lower. What we see today is a collapsed cave system, a window into the past. And for divers, well, it's pretty much paradise.
A collapsed cave system underwater. Okay, now that sounds both terrifying and awesome.
Oh, it's definitely both. But there's more to it than just the wow factor. Scientists are actually studying the stalactites, the sediments, all that stuff, trying to piece together what the climate was like back then, how sea levels have changed.
So it's like a giant time capsule, preserving clues to our planet's history.
Exactly. Okay, ready for a change of scenery? Let's head to Death Valley.
Oh, Death Valley. I've always wanted to go there.
You've got to see Racetrack Playa, a dry look bed, super flat, almost otherworldly. And that's where things get weird. Because there are these rocks, they seem to move themselves, leaving these long trails behind them.
I've seen pictures. The sailing stones. People used to think it was ghosts or something, right?
Right. But thanks to some dedicated scientists, we now know the secret.
Okay, spill the beans. What's the deal with these moving rocks?
It's a combination of things. During the winter, thin sheets of ice form on the playa. Then light winds come along, push the rocks across the slick ice. The ice melts, and bam! You've got these mysterious trails, like the rocks had a mind of their own.
So no magic, just ice and wind.
Exactly. But even knowing the science, it's still pretty cool to see those trails. Nature can be a real trickster sometimes.
Speaking of tricks, let's talk about Magnetic Hill in Canada. The place where cars roll uphill.
Ah, yes, Magnetic Hill. The place where, well, our eyes play tricks on us. It's all about the landscape, the slope of the road, the surrounding hills, the trees. They all combine to create this optical illusion. Makes a slight downhill slope look like it's going uphill.
This is all about perspective.
Exactly. And there are other places like it all over the world. Gravity hills, they're called. Each one playing with our perception in a slightly different way.
It's a good reminder that things aren't always as they appear. Okay, now I'm ready for something truly magical. Let's dive into the Sea of Stars in the Maldives.
Ah, the Sea of Stars. Now that's a sight to behold.
Imagine, you're wading into the ocean at night, and with every step the water lights up, like you're walking on a galaxy.
It's bioluminescence at its finest. Tiny little organisms, phytoplankton, they release light when they're disturbed. Waves crashing, a swimmer passing by.
So it's like a living, breathing light show.
Exactly, and it's breathtakingly beautiful.
Okay, this is officially going on my bucket list.
Good choice. Now, from the magical to the mysterious, maybe even a bit spooky, let's head to Devil's Pool in Australia.
Okay, Devil's Pool, what's the story there?
Imagine a deep, dark pool of water perched right at the top of a waterfall, and it looks bottomless.
Bottomless, like you can't see the bottom.
Right. It's an illusion, of course. Divers have explored it. But the depth, the darkness, the dense rainforest all around, it all creates this feeling of endless depth. And then there are the stories.
Stories, like what kind of stories?
Aboriginal legends. Tales of tragic spirits, lost loves drawn to the pool's depths. It's like the place itself is imbued with these ancient stories, this lingering sense of mystery.
Okay, now that's just plain creepy, but also kind of fascinating.
Right. Okay, from the depths of Devil's Pool, let's climb to the heights of Mount Roraima.
Mount Roraima, the tabletop mountain in South America. It looks like a giant floating island.
It does. And because of its isolation, it's evolved a unique ecosystem. Plants and animals you won't find anywhere else on Earth.
Like a lost world, right out of a Jules Verne novel.
Exactly. Scientists are fascinated by it. It's like a natural laboratory for studying evolution and adaptation.
Okay, from a floating island to a disappearing waterfall, let's talk about Devil's Kettle in Minnesota.
Devil's Kettle. Now there's a real head scratcher.
I read about it. A waterfall where half the water just vanishes into a hole.
Right, like it just goes down a drain. And the thing is, no one knows where it goes. They've tried everything. Dyes, ping pong balls, even logs.
And anything ever show up downstream?
Nope. It's a complete mystery.
Maybe it leads to another dimension.
Well, some people think it might connect to an underground river system, but so far, no one's been able to map it.
Okay, from disappearing waterfalls to mountains painted in every color imaginable.
Rainbow Mountain in Peru.
The one with stripes of red, yellow, green, purple. It looks like something out of a Dr. Seuss book.
It's amazing. Millions of years of mineral deposits, tectonic uplift, erosion. It's all combined to create this stunning visual spectacle.
I remember reading that it's also near an ancient Incan pilgrimage route.
Yes, the mountain is sacred in local indigenous cultures and is still used for ceremonies today.
Okay, now buckle up, because we're about to enter the zone of silence in Mexico.
The zone of silence, that's where, well, things get really strange. No radio signals, compasses going haywire.
Like some kind of electromagnetic dead zone.
Pretty much. There are theories, of course. Some scientists think it's something to do with the geology, maybe underground mineral deposits, but no one's really sure.
And of course, there's the UFO connection.
Always. The zone of silence is a popular spot for UFO enthusiasts. They believe the strange electromagnetic activity might be attracting extraterrestrial visitors.
Well, after exploring all these amazing locations, I'm starting to think that maybe anything is possible.
I think you're right. The world is full of wonders, things we can't always explain, things that challenge our understanding. And that's a good thing. You know, it's funny how these places, they often have all these legends, these folk tales surrounding them.
Like they capture people's imaginations.
Exactly. But at the same time, they also offer these, like, real scientific insights. It's like this blend of, well, I don't know, like where science and storytelling kind of meet.
I like that. Science and storytelling. And a perfect example of that, I think, has got to be the Hestalen Lights in Norway.
Oh, the Hestalen Lights.
Yeah.
Yeah, for decades, people have been seeing these strange orbs of light dancing across the sky. And, well, it's been a real puzzle for scientists.
I mean, some folks, they jump straight to aliens, right?
Of course. It wouldn't be a mystery without the alien theory. But there are other explanations, too. Some researchers think it might be ionized gases, maybe some unusual atmospheric conditions. There's even a theory that it could be related to the geology of the valley, like some sort of electromagnetic interaction.
So like a giant natural light show powered by the Earth itself. Pretty cool, even if we don't fully understand it yet.
Absolutely. It's a reminder that there are still things out there that we're just beginning to grasp. Okay, now, from dancing lights to a place where fire and water meet in a really, really unusual way, Eternal Flame falls in New York.
Eternal Flame Falls. Yeah, that's the one with a flame burning behind a waterfall. Sounds almost impossible.
It's a pretty incredible sight. Basically, there's natural gas seeping out of the rocks, and somehow it ignites and creates this little flame that just keeps burning tucked away behind the cascading water.
It's like defying the elements. You'd think the water would just put it out.
You would, but it's actually the waterfall that helps to protect the flame, creates this little microclimate where it can keep burning.
Nature is so weird sometimes. But, in a good way.
Totally.
Hmm.
Okay, ready for a trip to a place where time seems to have frozen.
Hit me with it.
Picture this, a world of ice. Giant, glittering ice formations towering above you. Frozen waterfalls, icy chambers stretching as far as the eye can see. The Eisenwelt ice cave in Austria.
The Eiswiesenwald. Wow, that sounds incredible. But how does something like that even form?
It's all about this interplay of freezing and thawing. During the winter, cold air sinks into the cave, freezes any water that seeped in, and then as it warms up, the ice melts a bit, drips down, refreezes, and it just creates these incredible formations.
It's like nature's own ice sculpture, constantly changing and evolving.
Exactly. Now, we've talked about a lot of strange and wonderful places, but there's one, well, it's almost legendary, and I think we have to address the elephant in the room, so to speak.
Oh, I know where you're going with this. The Bermuda Triangle, right?
You got it. The infamous region in the North Atlantic, where ships and planes supposedly vanish without a trace. It's been blamed on everything from magnetic anomalies to underwater methane eruptions to, of course, aliens.
I grew up hearing stories about the Bermuda Triangle. Like it was this place of, well, almost supernatural danger.
Right. But like a lot of these mysteries, the truth is probably a lot less exciting. Most of the disappearances that have been attributed to the Bermuda Triangle can actually be explained by natural phenomena, like storms, navigational errors, equipment malfunctions. It's a busy shipping route, after all, so statistically, it's not that surprising that there would be some accidents.
So more human error and bad luck than sea monsters or alien abductions.
Probably, but there's still this, lingering mystique. I mean, the ocean is vast and powerful, and there's still so much we don't know about it.
Okay, so maybe not aliens, but still plenty of mystery to go around, like that. And speaking of mysteries, let's go back to some of those places that really blur the lines between, well, science and the unexplained, like the zone of silence with its weird electromagnetic effects and those Hessdalen lights just dancing across the sky.
Those are the places that really get us thinking, right? They make us question what we think we know, challenge our understanding of how the world works. They're like, I don't know, puzzles waiting to be solved. And the fun part is, we don't know if we'll ever have all the answers.
Yeah, it's like they're saying, hey, come and figure me out, but be prepared to be surprised. And that's what makes it so exciting.
Exactly. It's about the journey, the exploration, the constant quest for knowledge. And in that process, we might learn more about ourselves, about our curiosity, our capacity for wonder, and, well, our place in this vast and mysterious universe.
I like that. And speaking of understanding our place in the universe, one of the places we talked about earlier, the Great Blue Hole, it's like this giant reminder that our planet has a history, that things haven't always been the way they are now.
Right, like a window into the past. Those layers of sediment at the bottom, they hold clues about ancient climates, sea levels, even the life that existed millions of years ago. It makes you realize that, well, we're just a small part of this much larger story, a story that's been unfolding for, well, eons.
It's both humbling and inspiring, right? Like we're connected to something much bigger than ourselves.
Totally. And that connection, it extends to all the life on Earth, from the tiniest creatures to the largest ecosystems.
Okay, so from the mysteries of Racetrack Playa to the ancient history preserved in the Great Blue Hole, these places, they challenge us to think differently, to see the world with new eyes.
To embrace the unknown, to never stop asking questions, to never stop exploring.
I love that. And to, well, appreciate the beauty and wonder of it all. And speaking of beauty and wonder, let's go back to the Sea of Stars for a moment.
Oh, the Sea of Stars. Now that's a place that just captures the pure magic of nature.
I mean, those bioluminescent waves, it's like something out of a dream. Like the ocean itself is alive with light.
And it's all thanks to these tiny little creatures, the dinoflagellates. They emit light when they're disturbed, and it creates this incredible spectacle.
It's like nature is putting on a show just for us.
It is. And it's a reminder that even the smallest organisms can have huge impact, can create something truly breathtaking.
And that everything is connected. From those tiny dinoflagellates to the whales swimming in the ocean, we're all part of this amazing interconnected web of life. And that, I think, is something worth celebrating.
Absolutely. And worth protecting. Because these places, They're not just for us, they're a legacy for future generations.
Okay, so from the bioluminescent shores of the Maldives to the mysterious depths of Devil's Pool, from the frozen landscapes of ice caves to the windswept plains of Racetrack Playa, we've really covered some ground today.
We have, and we've barely scratched the
I
surface.
know, it's like the more we learn, the more we realize there's so much more out there to discover.
Exactly.
It's mind-blowing, really. All these incredible places right here on our planet.
It makes you realize, doesn't it? This
Yeah.
drive to explore, to understand, it's kind of built into us, isn't it?
Totally. And these places, they don't just spark our curiosity, they like fire up our imaginations too.
Oh, absolutely. Think about Mount Roraima, that island in the sky. It's practically begging for stories and myths.
Didn't Conan Doyle, the Sherlock Holmes guy, didn't he write a whole novel inspired by Mount
A
Roraima?
lost world. He pictured it as this, like, prehistoric haven full of dinosaurs and all sorts of crazy creatures.
That's what I mean. And it's not just Mount Roraima. Whether it's the Sea of Stars or Devil's Kettle, these places, they tap into this like deep sense of wonder in us.
It's true. And you know, it's funny, even with all our technology, all our fancy gadgets, there are still places, still phenomena that we just can't fully explain.
Like Devil's Kettle. Where does that water go? It's like it
Ah.
just disappears into thin air.
It's a good reminder, isn't it, that nature, it still holds some secrets. There are forces at play that we're just starting to understand, maybe haven't even discovered yet.
I know. And honestly, I kind of like that. It means there's still so much out there to learn, to explore.
That's what makes it so exciting, right? This constant process of discovery, pushing the boundaries of what we know, challenging our assumptions.
It's like the universe is saying, hey, you think you've got me figured out? Think again.
Exactly. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one thing you want our listeners to remember?
That's a good one.
I'd say never lose your sense of wonder. Keep asking those questions. Keep exploring. The world is full of incredible places waiting to be discovered.
Beautifully said. And you know, it's not just about discovering new places. It's about remembering that these places, they're part of something bigger, this delicate web of life that we're all connected to.
That's so important. As we explore, we got to remember to respect these places, protect them. They're not just for us, they're for future generations too.
Exactly. So go out there, explore, be amazed, but tread lightly. The wonder of these places, it's a gift, and it's one we need to share.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, that about wraps it up for this deep dive. Thanks for joining us.
It's been a pleasure.
And until next time, keep exploring, keep wondering, and keep that curiosity alive.